When it comes to synth sounds, I tend to prefer genuine synthesizer plugins rather than sampled synths. Samples can't be oversampled like digital waveforms can, and therefore lack the unique sense of depth and clarity you get from dedicated synths. However, when it comes to achieving a natural hybrid scoring sound with a unified sense of organic warmth, I start reaching for elusive combinations and custom patches until I'm fed up and frustrated, even with things like Omnisphere and its wonderful atmosphere library. In hybrid scoring, I've come across that hollow gap that some composers inevitably run into, that organic hybrid place that seems almost too frustrating to take on. This is where scoring synths from Audio Ollie came in and built a sturdy bridge. Scoring synths isn't a hard-hitting electronic companion for trailer music. It isn't a frivolous set of cool sampled synths. It's exactly what its name suggests. A very serious and meticulously thought-out collection of synthetic sounds for scoring. You could call it a niche product in a way. But it's a niche that solves a very real problem in hybrid scoring. Organic warmth. Before I go on about the applications and explanations, I'll let you hear what's in the box straight up. You'll notice the selection isn't all-encompassing or colourfully varied. There's a reason for that. Providing recorded synths in the same manner an orchestra is recorded comes with a burden of samples for each mic position. There are 8 perspectives with scoring synths, and the sounds provided equal a robust 75 gigs even with native lossless compression. So the selection has been well thought out. We get the direct input sound, the close mono mic, the mid-room mics, the center Decatree mic and the side Decatree mics, the wide room mics, and the main surround and rear surround mics. This allows you to get an upfront synth sound, a close natural sound, an expansive sound, a roomy sound, and a wide blooming sound. The sound itself is provided by a Moog D, a warm synth. You get a mono mode and a gliding mode. An arpeggiator and step sequencer. And the usual controls to make the sounds shorter and more poignant. All useful features. Now, let's talk about the purpose here. I have a feeling this library is going to be misunderstood by some composers and completely understood by others. So I'm going to explain its applications as efficiently as possible. Hybrid music has evolved over time. There are orchestral backdrops with gritty industrial edge. There are syncopated compositions with drones and rams. There are softer sci-fi style themes and minimal combinations. And there are EDM flavoured trailer scores. But all this has led to composers desiring a more symbiotic pairing of synths and orchestra, a feeling of them coexisting in the same room. That's what scoring synths is. It can be a daunting process to take synth sounds and puzzle them into an acoustic score, especially when you want them to be subtle or natural sounding. Out comes the reverb, the delay, the saturation, compression, and EQ, and before you know it, you're mixing rather than composing. And most composers aren't mixers or sound engineers, so the headaches are inevitable. Synths carry the in-your-face sound by nature. It's just what they are. But by mirroring the recording technique used for orchestras, Audio Ollie have created a bridge past all of the previously mentioned. When you pull up the mics, you're hearing the real reverberations of the synth in the room, the same way you'd hear acoustic instruments' reverberations. The synth sound has become as acoustic as it can possibly be here. So getting a warm synergy with your orchestra is as simple as using the library. The end result is, if you want a synth that plays with your Decatree violins, pull up the Decatree mics. If you want a bass that reverberates with the basses, pull up the wide mics. All the provided sounds are controlled and have a dull warmth to them rather than a bright sheen. They were made for scoring, and they capture that organic hybrid style spot on. All of the sounds I've attempted to reach for in the past, I found here. So for me, when it comes to that darker style of hybrid scoring synths replaces Omnisphere for me, for the most part, and things just got a whole lot easier. The library actually brings to mind Hans Zimmer's Moog setup if it were recorded traditionally alongside the orchestra. Of course, it's not the cheapest library out there, but it is more affordable than quite a few other sampled hybrid synth alternatives. And those libraries don't have the focus and recording perspective scoring synths has. I think it's safe to say this is an important library. And that's that. I'll see you next time with another library. Check you later.